Hello everyone, I'm Chelsea Randall and today I'm going to be showing you how I use the PONi Cosmetics contouring kit. Contouring kit comes like so, and you have 4 shades on the inside of the palette. You have a highlight shade, a contouring shade, and 2 blush shades. Before I show you how I use the contouring kit, it's important to make sure that you have the right foundation on that's going to suit a powder contour. You definitely don't want a foundation that's too dewy or wet, because then the powder is just going to cling to that foundation and it's going to be really hard to blend, and it's going to be really hard to stop it from going muddy and ashy. If you don't know how to tell if your foundation is dewy or matte, what you can do is just pop on your foundation, let it sit for a few minutes, and all you need to do is just tap your face, and if it feels almost sticky and tacky, then it's definitely more on the dewy side, and if you can feel that it's sticky, then the powder is definitely going to stick to it. But if you have a powder-like feel to it, then the powder is going to blend out beautifully. If you don't have a powder/matte type foundation, all you have to do is just set your foundation with a powder. So a dewy foundation will work just fine. Just make sure that you are setting it with a powder before you go in with your contour. I like to start by highlighting first. That's how I get that glow from within type look. If everything else is on top of the highlight, it's going to look like the highlight's coming from within the skin. I'm going to start off by highlighting my cheeks, and I like to do that with an angled contour brush. I like to start off with a little bit of product and then build it up as I go. It's very easy to add more product, but it's very hard to take it away if you've put on too much. So just start out with a little bit. You can tap off the excess if you need to. And then I just do little circles working my way up my cheekbone here. I don't like to take the highlight too far down my face. I stop somewhere between the corner of my eye and my pupil, just because if you bring it too far in, it's not going to look so natural. Another area that I like to highlight is just in my tear ducts. I take a eyeshadow brush for this. This one is just an angled eyeshadow brush. I just take that right into the tear duct area, and also working it into this hollow part of the eye. This is just going to really brighten up the face and make you look more awake. It's also going to tie in the look. It's going to tie everything together, and it's going to make the eyes stand out a lot more. Still using that same brush, I'm going to highlight my nose as well. I'm just going to highlight the very tip of my nose and just up here on the bridge of my nose. I also like to highlight my Cupid's bow. I'm also going to highlight underneath my brow, just on my brow bone. You don't want too much product on here though, so just whatever is left over on your brush is fine. And finally, I'm just going to highlight above the arch of my brows as well, just to highlight sort of the temple area. I'm going to take a brush just like this. You can use any brush that is small. Don't want anything too big because you want this to be quite precise. So just above where your brow arches, and you just want to do this with quite a light hand. So now that we have highlighted the face, we've brought everything that we want forward. Highlighting is all about light and shade. So now that we have everything highlighted, we want to go in and contour now. The great thing about the PONi contouring shade is that it behaves very much like a shadow. And what that means is, because it's iridescent, when it's in the light, it reflects that light back, making the contour shade look a lot less deep and a lot less dark. So just like a shadow, if your face was in light, you wouldn't have such deep shadows in your face. So this is going to make it really, really easy for beginners or people that aren't very confident with contouring, because it's going to do exactly what a natural shadow on your face would do. When I contour, I like to use a flat brush. I use the PONi contouring brush for this. It's great because it has this flat top here, which means you can get a very sharp and precise line, but the bristles are also really soft, so it's great for blending as well. So when it comes to contouring my face, I like to stick to the natural shadows in my face. So if I turn my lips to the side, just like this, you can see that there's already a natural shadow there, so I just like to follow that. Another way to find where you should start your contour, if you cannot see that natural shadow, what you want to do is just start at the very base of your ear here and draw sort of a line straight down towards the corner of your mouth. You definitely don't want to take it too far in. I like to stop at the corner of my eye. I just find that that looks the most natural. So you definitely don't want to start out with too much product on the brush, but just very, very lightly trace out that line. Just like that. And then what you want to do is almost create like a triangle shape from the top part of your ear here and just match it up. I like to turn the brush on an angle like this to do that, and then you can turn it completely vertical so that you can blend that out. When you're doing this, you definitely want to blend up, not down, because you want to drag the features of your face up rather than help gravity out and drag your features down. Now that we've contoured the cheeks, I'm going to move on and contour the temples. This is going to add more dimension to your face. When you put foundation on your face, it makes everything look very flat because everything becomes one color. So you really want to add that dimension back in. That's why we contour our temples. So just below where we added that highlight, I take this same brush, it's the perfect size for this, and I just create little circles in the hollow of my temple there. So again, wherever you have added light, you then add shade. Then with whatever is left over on my brush, I like to contour my nose. I absolutely love using this brush for contouring my nose because it's the perfect size. But if you do not have a brush like this, you can go in with an eyeshadow brush or just some sort of small brush that you can be quite precise with. And again, when doing this, you really want to stick to the natural shadows on your face. I like to turn my brush just like this and very, very lightly work my way up. And I like to take this almost into the socket because that's where the natural progression of the shadow is going to go. Now I'm going to go in with blush. I think I'm going to take a mixture of both these shades because this one is slightly iridescent, so it's going to help us blend that into our highlight, and the pink one is going to be quite a natural blush shade. I like to do my blush before I bronze, just because a blush is meant to mimic a flushed look in the face, which is just when the blood comes to the surface of the skin. So again, you want to look like it's coming from underneath your makeup. I just like to take a really round, small brush for my blush shades. I'm going to go in with that pink shade first. And I actually don't like to smile when I do my blush. Some people like to do this to show the apples of their cheeks, but once you're not smiling, your cheeks are going to drop. So I like to rest my face when I'm doing my blush just so that I know where the product is going to be when I'm not smiling. You definitely want a light hand with these blushes as they're very pigmented, and I just do little tiny circles working my way up my cheek. And now I'm going to go in with the Playful Peach PONi, which is the more iridescent shade, just so that I can blend that in with the highlight. Now I'm going to finish off the look with a little bit of bronzer, and that's another great thing about this contour shade is that it works great as a bronzer as well. So I'm just going to take an angled brush like this Any big brush will do as long as it's nice and fluffy. And I'm just going to blend up from the contour that we did to our highlight. And I'm also taking this just under my jaw a little bit. And then you are all done. So that is how I use the PONi contouring kit. I hope that this video has been helpful to you. If you did like it, please give it a big thumbs up. I hope you have a fabulous day. Bye!